Hi, I'm Jenna, and welcome to the OMPod, the bridge between medicine and mystery, where we talk about all things physical, metaphysical, and everything in between. If you're on a healing or spiritual journey, or feel like you should be, or you're just curious, then there's probably something in this pod for you, so stick around. I'd best introduce myself, as this is the first ever episode of the OMPod, a podcast that actually has been 3 years in the making. Seriously. But if, like me, you believe that everything happens in divine timing, then this might just be the podcast for you. So let's start as we mean to continue. Who, when, what, where, and why? Well, I'm a human who has been humaning for just over 47 years now. My name is Jenna. I'm a mum of one. I'm a therapeutic masseuse, energy channel and healer, and I run my own holistic business. And I've just started to bring together a collective of other healers. So my vision for the business was always to be never about just being me and what I could offer. It was always about bringing other people into the collective and sharing as many healing modalities as possible with as many people as possible, to give everybody the greatest awareness of their healing potential. And I'm just starting to do that. So I've just opened another room up at the space where I have my therapy rooms, and I'm starting to bring together a collective of other healers so that we can share the space that I've lovingly created, just to give opportunities to people. So many people are transitioning out of the corporate world and into the healing world. And it's tough. I know. I've been there. I've done it. I've started from scratch on my own. And you know what? If there had been someone like me who'd said, hey, you want to rent a room at a really reasonable rate and build your business? I'd have been like, yes, please. So that's really what Collective is about. It's about sharing opportunities, space, knowledge with each other, and just being there for each other and helping each other heal, giving like-minded people who want to share their skills and help people heal the opportunity to do so. If you are one of those like-minded people and this sounds like something you'd be interested in, I'm based in Warwickshire. You can head over to my website, which is www.omcollective, all one word, .co.uk, and go to the partners page and you'll be able to find the contact details there. And I'll also pin it in the website, up in the website below. So why am I here creating a podcast? Well, that's been a 7-year journey, to be honest. 7 years ago, I had a massive wake-up call, or awakening, if you will. And that catalyst was the birth of my son. He changed my life irrevocably, forever. And thank God he did. As I was someone who'd been bred to put a career first and be successful. And I am air quoting that because I still don't know what that's meant to mean, because it keeps changing for me. The success I thought that I knew and wanted 20 years ago is definitely not the success I know and want now, that's for sure. And everything else came a very poor second up to that point. It was a very selfish and very nihilistic, I want to say, existence. And do you know what? Since that moment, everything, and I mean everything in my life has changed and transformed, or both. There's no more 20-year executive corporate career, no more marriage, home, car, dog, friends. I mean, literally no stone has been unturned in this process. And the list goes on forever. And while this sounds like the good old-fashioned, midlife crisis or total breakdown or marriage failure, whatever it is that our current society would tell us and be dismissive about, actually has been the utter making of me. The utter making of me. And I guess that's the point, right? We live in a society that has purposefully curated a culture that is individualistic and separatist and isolated and really, really lonely and really, really shallow and empty. And it seems that the further that you get into that trap, the lonelier that you get, despite the money. So, where am I? Went off on a little bit of a tangent. Welcome to life here. it has been the making of me. And do you know what? It has been this part of my life, this part right now, right here, and the past 5 years especially, has been where I have started to live the life that I want. And the only way that I've been able to do that is to become present, accountable, humbled, eager, compassionate, and passionate. I found my path. I found my path so far to tread in this world, and every step I take along that path takes me a little bit further into the truth of who I am, makes me find a little bit more peace inside myself, stills the chaos that was churning away deep down inside. And the complete unravelling of the avatar called Jenna has created a being way more in tune with the innate gift that life is. And it is a gift. The amazing miracle that our body is. And our bodies are miracles. Like, we say the most horrendous things about our bodies. You know, like, oh God, body's falling to bits. Well, I need a new one. You know, how many times have we all said this and heard these things? And I have to say, one of the biggest liberating factors is doing a lot of healing work and totally unshackling myself from the societal conditioning. And, you know, having a zero fuck policy, really. I have zero fucks to give anyone who has zero fucks to offer, and I'm not going to waste my time or sacrifice the hard-earned peace that I have cultivated in my life for people that just want to take. It's a big old no to those kinds of folks, and a big old no to the people-pleasing ways of the past. Quick PSA, if you're offended by bad language, you may not enjoy this podcast for very long. That's just the way it is. So yeah, navigating this total life spiral into societal abyss has gifted me some fairly epic new coping skills, which I have been relentlessly, by various forms, energetically and physically in this world. It's time to share. It's time to share my life experiences. It's time to share the wisdom that I've gleaned. It's time to share the learnings that I have come across in my experience as a therapist. And the good news is that these tools, fortunately, do not include the binge drinking, utter denial of any kind of trauma, and bad life choice making of my former life. So yeah, good news all round there. It's been hard, especially the past 5 years. I'm not going to lie. Any transformation that we make in life is hard won. It's hard fought. And it often comes from a place of desperation, if I'm truly, truly honest. And, you know, 5 years ago, I was in a desperate place. And it's taken me lower than I ever thought possible, higher than I've ever dreamed. I have experienced moments of pure bliss and joy that I did not even know were possible. And I necessarily wasn't going and chasing the highs, to be honest. It's just through many forms of healing and meditation and other journeys that I've been on, what is possible to us as humans is just not advertised. And we're told to search outside of us for those feelings and emotions. And actually, the more you turn in and the more further in you go, the more beautiful the world becomes. Because once you get inside and go into those dark, scary places, you're able to have huge compassion for yourself and even more compassion for others, because you can recognize the struggles much, much easier. And you have way more understanding and tolerance of people who are just trying to get by. So it's been lonely, really lonely. When you start an awakening journey, or whatever you want to call it, when you start to look around you and realize that the disconnection that you've always felt and the masked and coping mechanisms that you've been using are no longer doing the trick, you realize that we are living a really fundamentally flawed way of life that we have been systemically conditioned and purposefully conditioned to do. So when you start this journey or process, or whatever adjective you wanna go for it, like, I'm not trying to force words into anyone's mouth here, But if, when the scales do get removed from your eyes as to exactly the life we're living, and then you choose to go back, you're going to have to double down on those hardcore coping mechanisms. And that's when life's going to get really hard and unpleasant. So I spent a lot of years, one foot in the matrix, one foot out. And that dichotomy, that perpetual struggle, I think, has kept me much further back. But that was my own journey to go on, still trying to be loved and accepted in a world that I didn't really want to be in. Yet, everything that I loved was there. So I was trying to cling on to those old relationships and people and places and things, and I just needed to let go. And so, part of my own suffering has been very much self-inflicted, as isn't it always the way? So, we go into a void in that time, and during that void, I separated and divorced my now ex-wife. I turned from a serial career woman into a mum, and I started my own business, and I moved about 15 times. I temporarily had no fixed abode for a while, and seen financial ruin and all those other wonderful, wonderful ways that the world can turn against you when you decide to turn against it. So if you're looking for somebody, if you're looking for a guide that's been there and done that, then hopefully I may have some words of wisdom that can offer you some insight and perhaps give you some respite and some reassurance that you're not on your own. Far from it. Millions, and I mean millions of people are waking up right now. That's why there is an explosion into the wellness market. That's why there's an explosion into the, people looking into spirituality. There are so many more podcasts out there talking about subjects that nobody would have ever talked about before. We're talking about space weather, astrology again, in much more serious terms than we ever have done. And long may that continue. I have been on this path now for 7 years, and the more I get into the sciences behind these aspects of subjects that have been derided and sidelined over the years for various reasons, and I won't get into that now because it would take me hours and possibly send me off into a rant spiral, but this is really about healing the self and helping others to heal and going on that journey together. And I think the more that we can do things together, which is a complete antithesis to the person that I used to be, never asking for help, always being the one that helped others, never accepting help, never wanting help, seeing that as a weakness. Yeah, there's been some real fun conditioning going on in my life. So, I'm picking that. We are slowly unraveling the Jenna that was. And that all started with holding my son in my hands, my arms, in the first hour of his life, and making a vow to him that day that I would be a mum that he could be proud of and a mum that he deserved. And I landed back in my body hard, like, I don't even know where I'd been for 40 years, but it's like I suddenly had this realization and awareness and presence that I don't think I had ever felt before in my life. And love. So much love. And I'll be honest with you, the woman holding that child was not a mum that he could be proud of, nor the mum that he deserved. And I knew it. And there was no place to hide, and nor did I want to. It was time to stop, wake the hell up, grow the hell up, and be a better version of me and work out who I was. I actually had no clue. I turned 40 and think that I had it sussed. Married, nice house, 2 cars on the drive, good job, money, holidays, blah, 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 all the rest of it. And I was miserable. I was really miserable. Oh, the irony. So why make a podcast, right? It's a calling, and it's a calling that I've got to follow, because the voices in my head will not be quiet, and the voices around me and all of the signs and synchronicities are telling me that this is what I'm going to do. And in fact, I've actually got footage of when I first tried to do this a couple of months ago. First tried to do it on screen so that you could see me in that. I'm not comfortable with that yet. But what I did do when I did that and I was filming it is that I started filming. And as I started filming, this beautiful orb travelled across the screen from left to right. And I'll post that, I think, in a short because it's just epic. So that's like a sign. As you start on the journey and you start to become aware of more of what's around you, you're more present in your body, you're more present in your environment, you start to see these beautiful little signs that we get when we're following our true north, our true path. And my healing journey, my professional journey over the past few years have been so intricately woven together that there isn't a degree of separation. So there's no point me making a podcast about, Jenna the person and then Jenna the therapist and my learnings of the medical world and the energetic healing world, because they're also wrapped up and intermingled with one another. Energetic healing is hugely about intention and purpose behind, of the therapist that's doing the healing. So it's an all-in-one, all or nothing, as my motto in life has been. My healing has 100% influenced my ability to channel energy in all forms of divination, whether that's tarot, whether that's just channeling other beings, whether that's channeling energy into clients through Reiki and through auric field regeneration modalities, whether that's through my massage therapy, my learning that I've undergone, like I've undergone a degree's worth of learning in the past few years, has 100% been the key to developing my technique, helping countless people, and giving me a purpose in life. Like I've realised that I was constantly striving for a way to serve others. So whether that was me working in retail for donkey's years, whether that was me working in the service industry, such as running pubs and being a waitress, all of those jobs I've loved. I love humans. I think we're great. I think we can absolutely suck at times, but that's usually down to kind of how we've been brought up, the process factory that we've come out of. So I guess the podcast is going to be this evolution of what I want it to be, what you want it to be, where we're going to go, sharing my learnings, helping you to understand really what's going on with our medical system, what's going on with our medical system externally, i.e. the practitioners and industry that has been built up around modern day medicine. And trust me, that is an industry. And it's keeping us sick. And that is the truth. And, talking about the world of energetic medicine, which is millennia, literally 5+ millennia old. And again, the reason why that's been sidelined and derided is not for this podcast episode today, but I most definitely will be getting into that so that we all understand exactly what's been going on there. For me, with the understanding that I have now, I truly believe, and this is all on my website, that we have the medical advancements that we do. I'm not saying the medical industry is all bad and all the rest of it. We have some incredible, astounding, life-saving, genius medical procedures and research that if we combine that with the ancient way of doing things, with the ancient energetic healing knowledge that we have, we would have such quantum level shifts in everyday health of everyday people, not just for the elites among us. It would transform the quality of our lives spectacularly. And I truly believe that. And I'm so passionate about that. And I see it on a daily basis. I have my hands on human beings every single day. I feel their pain physically, emotionally, spiritually. I know that there isn't a single human being out there that hasn't encountered trauma in some way that has ended up in some sort of physical repercussions. And I guess that's why I'm here. That's why I'm on here, is because having gone through and read an awful lot of medical texts and worked with a chiropractor and learned all kind of the jargon and things, it's another language. How everyday people are meant to understand how pill instructions are worded, let alone how, if you ever go and get a scan from the doctor and you get your scan results and you get the report that comes with it, I very much doubt one word of it makes any sense to you. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to bring the medical world and the world of mystery of energetic healing together and combine them in the most simple way that everybody can access them, everybody can understand them, and everybody, should they choose to, can implement them in their own life. Because our potential for self-healing and preventative healing is seriously underutilized in our current society. And I'm all for changing that, one human at a time if needs be. But, hopefully the podcast will be able to reach more than that. And that's exactly what it's about, because we are on the precipice of an epic awakening. And the more information, the more healers that are on, YouTube and TikTok and everywhere else, the more light workers are out there sharing their wisdom, the more people can heal. There's a voice for every person out there. And I'm just so thrilled to see so many people coming on and sharing their wisdom. And it saved my life this past 5 years. So to everybody that I've listened to on YouTube, thank you immensely. So that's kind of it for the first podcast. That's who I am. That's my journey. And that's my mission. I'm on a mission. Woman on a mission to help the world heal, to empower the world to heal through knowledge that is millennia old, knowledge that is out there, but it's just hidden in the confusing and purposefully obstructive language that is used in all sorts of industries, whether that's financial, lawyers, medical, whatever industry that you work in where you get charged a lot of money for knowing how to decipher that language. We're going to break those barriers, people. We're going to break those barriers down and bring everyone back to a level where we can all communicate with one another really easily, really simply, really honestly, really transparently, and have just good, honest conversations. And it doesn't matter if we disagree on points of view, because to me, that's the beauty of being human. It's, the beauty of having discourse that's respectful and informative and insightful, that helps us grow and evolve as humans. I love AI. I think it has many, many uses, but using it as your therapist and using it as your doctor is not the answer, people. Trust me. I've had some very interesting conversations with AI, and a lot of information I've had has had some epically gaping holes in it, and AI has itself admitted that it just makes up the blanks based on certain algorithm patterns. Crazy but true. Anyway, we're not going to get into AI here. So if you're in a space in your life where nothing is making sense anymore, you're at the end of a road, maybe with a medical system, you've gone as far as you can and you've not got any joy and you've not got any relief from your pain or condition, or if you're just in an emotional black hole where nothing makes sense anymore, the goals, achievements, things, people, places and objects you filled your life with no longer sparkle or inspire you in the same way, welcome to the transition from physical to metaphysical. Buckle up, buttercup, are my wise words for you. It's a wild ride. And honestly, if anyone had sat me down 5 years ago and told me the story of my life, what the next 5 years of future life looked like for me, I would actually think they'd been on crack. I would just be like, shut up, get out. But here I am. Having gone down many rabbit holes, I am older, wiser, happier, healthier, more present and more alive than I think I have ever been. So let me tell you, if you're in a really dark place right now, I've been there. You are not on your own. There are people that can help you. There are so many resources, free resources available to you. Please know that you're not on your own. We are here together. Please share this with anyone that you know is in a dark place, and know that I am ready to tackle the next 50 years with the abandon of a teenager that's just been told their parents are going on holiday and it's ready to run amok. Come and run amok with me. I call you all to a silent, wild rebellion, one that takes you to a place of truth, of love, of awareness, of understanding of exactly the world we're living in, and how we can change that simply by changing just our own behaviour and our own outlook in life and our own way of being. If every single human took responsibility and accountability of who they are, how they show up, and chose to give more back to society, collective consciousness would elevate at a rate that would be unprecedented. It already is. That, the tipping point is already nearing. So I guess we're just trying to push and gather momentum to get that tipping point closer and closer. So thank you for being here, especially if you listened for a whole 26 minutes. Thank you so much for listening to episode 1 of the On Pod. More is to come. I'm writing content as we speak. So thank you for being here. Take care and have a beautiful evening, tribe.